So I was playing Helldivers 2 last night and I was purely autopiloting my games. So after coming back from extraction, I heard this on the PA system.
Priority alert. The Court Bay system. Status. Defending against Automaton. Invasion.
And it kind of just shook me out of my trance. Because to put it lightly, I was taken aback, but I was also really excited. You know, the Automatons are back. They retook Cyberstan, and now we are on the defense. But on top of that, we actually have an actual defense mission. I know there are some mission types out there like the Evacuate Essential Personnel and the Eradicate Automaton or Terminate Forces, where you're in those small size maps. It seems like one of those secure, hold the ground type of mission, but this new one really feels like that type of mission. So basically your objective is to kind of hold down this facility and prevent the automatons from reaching the core, because at the core are two generators that you need to complete the mission with. So rockets containing high value assets will periodically go off over time, so there's no need to manually input some sort of terminal to set them off. And once the rockets have fully gone off, you can extract. The map comes with interactable gates, which you and your team can use to, close off certain territories. And there's actual heavy machine gun placements that you can use to help in the defense. So when you drop in, you will realize that there's a timer indicating when the wave will start. Sorry, it's not a wave, it's basically an onslaught because there's no waves. There is going to be some breathing room, maybe like 5-10 seconds in between consecutive bot drops, but beyond that, there is no like, here you get another free minute and a half of just, setting up your stuff again. If you were to activate the terminal manually, the mission will instantly start, so you will forego your grace period of setting up. I went through this mission 2 times. The first time we failed, and the second time we were able to complete it. And I'm going to give a small breakdown of both games and take you through what I went through and what I learned from it. So here's the first game. You'll see that the moment we land, I'm a very curious person. I see terminal, I hit terminal. We didn't have time to set up anything and the wave instantly started. Bots were dropping and we just had to get up and go. Second, we also landed right at the core of the map. And the core of the map, think of it as the last place you need to defend. So because we were already there and we weren't moving from there, we kind of already forfeited about 70% or so of the map. Thankfully, some people brought EMS mortars, which were very helpful in stopping the advance, and we were able to fend off the bot drops without much issue using, quasar cannons and EATs. They were able to break through the main gate, and they were able to, actually enter very close to us, almost to the generators, but we were handling ourselves pretty well. Then all of a sudden, for no reason, the bot drops just happened right on top of us, and it's hard to, hold your ground when your ground is now in the presence of Hulks and Devastators. So we all got kind of wiped there, and then some berserkers started headbutting the generator, and then we lost. That was our first experience, and we had a good team. We had good players. I felt like we were good players, so I felt like this was totally doable. And there was one player there whose name is Face Melter, who we will refer to as F2. He wanted to do it again, so we booted up another one. And this time we talked about it. So we strategized. We decided, okay, so heavy armor is a must. We brought EMS mortars, we brought regular mortars, and we brought some long range explosive artillery. So quasar cannons and EATs were those bot drops plus the heavies. So we started exploring the map a little when we figured out that there's actually multiple gates and actual HMG emplacements there. So we just started setting up more forward into the map, which is how you should do it, I feel like. I also realized that starting the terminal instantly started the wave, so I was not going to do that. So we actually had time to set up, and we ended up having a really neat looking mortar nest somewhere tucked away. So now it comes to, in my opinion, what role do you play in this team? I think someone was constantly on a heavy machine gun focusing on the small guys, because the heavy machine gun can't really do that much damage to a tank or the bot drops. Me and F2 were really focusing on the big guys. F2 was like in-game leader. He was calling everything out. So there was a lot of communication, which I liked. And because of that, we were able to prioritize the larger targets. We were able to keep them pretty away from the core of the facility. And they never actually entered the core where the 2 generators are, so we actually were able to hold them off pretty well, a lot more well than last time. So communicating to your team is very important, and the moment any of your stratagems are available, just use them, because they're always going to be very useful, especially if you're running mortars. And EATs, just having like EATs right next to you is always helpful as well for those bot drops. But yeah, we were able to finish it without much of a hitch. We had so many reinforcements left, they never got to the middle of the facility. And even though we did it on level 7 difficulty, I feel like the methods we were employing could easily be transferable to a Helldive. So overall, this mission was such a fun breath of fresh air. I love horde mode defense style missions. I hoped the eradicate automaton or that evacuate essential personnel mission would be those types of missions, but it wasn't. But this seems like my cup of tea. Plus, people have played Helldivers quite a lot now, so people are now adopting, me personally, I'm guilty of this, we're adopting the sort of autopiloting mindset where we don't talk, we don't communicate because we know what to do, we just go off on our own. But in this type of hunkered down style type of mission, everyone needs to be together. They need to communicate because that's the only way you're going to win, because they really just come up on you, especially with all the tanks and hulks. So you need to know who to prioritize or what to call out to be able to actually do well. Beyond that, I'm glad that this type of mission is now highlighting different types of utilities, such as the turret stratagems. Like, no one would really use the mortars that much, but now we get to see almost a full team using mortars, and even the heavy machine gun placement. Like, Bites never had a good chance to use it, but this seems like it's gonna excel here because the guy who was manning that turret our whole second game, he was putting absolute work through that. So yeah, just to sum up some of the tips I learned: once you deploy, do not activate that terminal. Curiosity will kill you the way it did for me. Make really good use of that grace period, which they allow you to set up. Also, set up from afar. Don't set up in the core of the facility with the 2 generators. Just take advantage of all the space that the map gives you and organize what kind of choke point you want to cover with your team, and also maybe just define the role you want to take. If you want to focus on the anti-air, if you want to focus on the mobs, let that be known. Be sure to communicate all the high priority targets that come your way: tanks, hulks, and ping stuff as well, because the ping can kind of tell you where a thing is because it's tracking its location, so you can use that to kind of just line your shot up with your cannons and rockets. Also, very small thing, but I think is a very useful thing, is don't have your gates closed. Only close them when you need to, meaning while you're retreating and they're really close up to you, close it then, because the gates have a set amount of HP, it looks like. So if you were to have them closed behind you and someone was shooting at you, it would hit the gate because they missed you, and then the gate would get chipped away. So it's good to have it closed, open, and only to close it when you need it to. But yeah, I am just so glad to see the bots come back as well as experience this actual defense mission. Such a fun treat in the middle of the night. Big shout out to my team. You all were incredible, especially to Face Melter. Great comms, great attitude, absolutely stellar human being. And yeah, thanks for watching. If you like what you see, like what you heard, please like and subscribe. I like to cover a lot of Helldivers 2 content, so if you're into that, stay tuned. Also, to those who have played a new mission type, I'm curious to see what you learned, so please comment down below what your thoughts on it are. I'm very excited to see what everyone else thinks about the new mission type, because I love it so much. But yeah, thank you for watching. Have a nice day.
You have maintained our way of life.
I just hoped I was gonna annoy you guys.